Welcome back to Daytime. If you like portraits and photography, wow, this is for you. With you right now, Véronique Couillard and Stephane Pressault. We're talking about some beautiful photographs taken by someone by the name of Rip Hopkins. Everything taking place at the Ottawa Art Gallery. Welcome to Daytime.
Thank you.
So this, I read the information yesterday and I thought, how interesting in this, because this gentleman, Rip Hopkins, is not really from here.
He's
so
not from here.
How did this come to be?
So it's a collaboration for the anniversary of Canada between the Embassy of France and the British High Commission. They invited OAG to host this exhibit of Rip Hopkins. So he's born in the UK, grew up in France, now in Belgium, and he's fascinated by who you can become or who you can be if you're in Canada or if you move to Canada.
Wow.
So these portraits are of people that he's met on 3 trips he did here last year. And along with Pepita Carr from the French Embassy, they would sometimes just go and knock on people's door and ask if you could take their pictures, or sometimes they would be a bit more organized and contact the RCMP and schedule a photo shoot. But every time Rip was amazed that the people would just be like, yeah, sure, you can take my picture.
Isn't that interesting? And so what we have are various situations, and he's in all of them.
He is,
right?
yeah. So part of his process, so they are portraits, but part of his process and to connect with the people that he meets kind of, very quickly, is to ask to borrow clothes. So he changes, he wears clothes that the models will pick. So here he is in the cathedral in Ottawa. And then he stages. So they look like, some of them look like snapshots, but they're actually staged. And Stephane can speak to that because he's one of the models in the photos.
And is that him screaming at the back?
Yeah, there he is. Yeah.
Interesting.
Sometimes he's hard to find, and sometimes he's right there in the forefront. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So staged, but they still all look so natural.
Yeah, it looks like someone just kind of grabbed, a picture quickly. But here he is on Kitigan Beach near Maniwaki. I don't know if you've spotted him.
Absolutely. I think that's so interesting. So what was this process like? You had a chance to work along with him, did you not?
So it was an interesting experience because he would come and he would ask, well, what are your cultural clothes? Right? So he would, or what is the clothes? And as you can see, we're in a mosque, and myself, I'm a French-Canadian Muslim. So this was an interesting experience because he asked us what's our clothes, and our clothes are not different, right? So a lot of it we felt was showing that the fluidity of the cultural mosaic in Canada and the fluidity of culture and cultural expression in Canada, and he showed how he's able to join a community and be part of a community as an owner of a community. And a lot of what we felt was Rip came in, and he didn't come in as a guest. He came in as one of us, and he came in as someone who shared and was willing to explore what it's like to be part of a community instead of what it is to look at a community from an outsider's perspective.
And do you find that you were welcomed in almost all the situations?
Yeah, so that's what was really beautiful about it is I feel that what he was discovering was that communities all over Canada are extremely welcoming to others, and that is the one unifying aspect of what it means to be Canadian. And for us, what was fascinating is we've created a center, a space of worship where people are meant to heal from a lot of traumas and are hoping to connect with God. But in our case, what we're seeing is that it's not a matter of dress, or it's not a matter of skin color, but it's a matter of interior expression. And I feel that Rip brought that out for our own experience.
So if I go to the Ottawa Art Gallery, there will be 150 different portraits. Is there a storyline or a theme or a little script underneath all of them, or is it they're just kind of there and I'm kind of meant to imagine what it's supposed to be?
Right, so when you walk into the gallery, the walls are plastered with these 150 portraits from ceiling to floor, and they're all quite different and all quite, some of them are touching and lovely, some of them are funny, sometimes mostly because of Rip. And you'll see sometimes local celebrities, you'll see the Prime Minister actually there.
Wow.
Sometimes you're with OC Transpo workers, or they're in a lab and you don't see any faces. So every story is quite different, and we're giving you a lot of the background information, but actually in the exhibit, it's just you and the photographs, and if you have someone there with you, you'll probably have really lovely conversations. Here he is with,
See, I look at that and I think, okay, now where is he? Okay, to me that's very funny because there's a family, and then you sort of have to look around, and there he is, sitting on the floor.
It becomes a bit of a game, and then your eye wanders. Here he is with the Gatineau firefighters practicing, how do you say, I guess a saving mission. Yes, there you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so there's some high-level stuff going on here, right? So we're talking about police. Oh, good. Your microphone's probably not working. Don't worry about it. So we're talking about police. We're talking about the firemen. They just sort of let them in, right? Come on in. Let's do our thing, including different religious groups, where we tend to think that you can't, necessarily step on anybody's toes, but everyone was so welcoming.
That was Rip's vision. It was to really meet and connect with as many communities and groups or organizations as possible. And in his own words, everyone said yes, and everyone was happy to open their door. And sometimes it was, just a few minutes with Rip, and sometimes it was a whole day. It involved a dinner and, conversations. And for Rip, it was a very lovely experience throughout.
Well, we have a minute left. I want to make sure everybody knows where to go. This is going to take place, it's happening right now.
Yes.
It goes until June 11th. And we're taking place at the Ottawa Art Gallery. Now, what's out there? There's a little bit of construction going on. Let's tell people quickly what that means.
Because we're in between buildings. So the show is at the Annex at City Hall, because the gallery is closed because we're going to inaugurate a new building in the fall. So it's very exciting. And so we're going to be beside the Arts Court. So that whole complex will become a huge art complex starting this fall. And so right now we're literally either at City Hall or at festivals or at partner organizations in museum doing sketching events or bike tours in the city to learn about public art and so on. So we have a calendar online if you want to check it out.
And, and that's OAG?
OAGoutthere.com.
There it is. Awesome. Thank you so much. Admission is free if you want to see these 150 portraits. I'm so curious to see the rest of them. Make sure that you check it out. It's called Canada, Photographs by Rip Hopkins. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, hot dogs. Smells so good in here. Stay with us. We'll be right back.